Welcome to another episode of Titan PI TV. We're looking at the inside workings of a live operational investigation agency, that being here, Titan in Derby. Welcome, I am your host and Managing Director of Titan Private Investigation Limited, Simon Henson, and happy Friday, and what a glorious day it is too. If you prefer to listen to podcasts, you can download Titan PI TV podcast wherever you download your podcasts. So today's short episode, we're going to discuss what props do surveillance operatives use? What disguises do they use? What do they use to be overt, to be covert? So if you look at a surveillance operative, you don't remember them. So first of all, if we look at things like motorcycles, scooters, pedal cycles, it could be that you get some branded kit like Deliveroo, a nice backpack. You have the helmet, all the branded merchandise with it, and you're stood on a street corner in London, for example, and you're watching a business premise. You're waiting for your subject to come out. You are the trigger. You could probably stay there for an hour, hour and a half, and no one would bat an eyelid at you. They look at you, they don't remember you. You're being overt to be covert. That is a really good prop to use. It might be on a motorcycle, that to change the profile of the motorcyclist, because you can't really change the profile of the motorcycle other than it being a dull colour, it might be that you have different bibs you put on, like courier bibs, for example, which are all branded up to a courier company. If we're in a vehicle, it could be, the example I'm going to give you here is years ago, before the time when drop-down cameras, which are linked to your phone and you can monitor and trigger people out an address, before that was financially viable, I was sat in a van as the trigger vehicle. The van had a flashing beacon on top, and in the front windscreen, it had traffic survey in progress. Our subject came out, spoke to me, wanted to know what I was doing a traffic survey for the council because we're having some speed bumps. The subject was absolutely made up because he had been writing to the council about people speeding down the road outside his house. He was bringing cups of tea out to me all day long. Yes, I could not be part of the surveillance, but I was a trigger, and because of the props I'd used, I could sit there all day long. All day long. Never ever bat an eyelid. You can also put things like motorway maintenance magnetic signs on. It might be that you put a taxi sign similar to this one on top of your car, and you put some Uber signs on each side of the vehicle. You need to be careful with that, simply because if you haven't got a taxi plate and other taxi drivers see you, they may have an issue with you. But that gives you a reason to be there. You're being overt to be covert. Okay, let's look at people then. So women are very good at using props in surveillance. They can have wigs. I've known some operatives have prosthetic pregnancy bumps which they can take on and take off to completely change their appearance and their profile. But ones which are more common, you'd be looking at having a bag similar to this maybe, and you'd have all your props in it for the day. So in this you might have a couple of hats, different coloured hats, just to change your profile. So your subject, if they look at you again later on, you have a different profile. It could be you have a beanie hat. It could be, and this amazes me every time, but if you just have a doggy bag with some soil in it and a dog lead, it's amazing how many people will not bat an eyelid at the fact you haven't got a dog. I've used this numerous times, usually in matrimonial cases when you need to get close to a subject in a public open space. Just walk up with your doggy bag and your lead. You've got your covert in your hand, your covert recording device. And you haven't seen a black cocker spaniel, have you? The little bugger's run off. And while you're doing that, you're engaging with your subject and potentially getting imagery of the associate who they're with. And that might be a key objective. But without the prop, you couldn't possibly do that. So once again, being overt to be covert, using a prop to give you a reason to be somewhere. It could be that you've been sat watching an address for 2 days on an insurance case where we're trying to find out whether someone has got the injuries or how they're purporting their injuries to be and how that affects their life. We may be waiting for them to come out of the house and they haven't come out. So the insurance company might turn around, or whoever's instructing, and might say, right, we need to know whether they're there before we instruct a further day. So it could be, you can buy these off eBay, they don't work, but it looks the part as if you're a courier. put some black gear on, so black trousers, black top. These would all be in your vehicle as your props. And you would prepare a package, whether it's in the subject's name or a completely random name. You can then go and knock on the door, and with your covert imaging device, you can get identification imagery of whoever answers that door. If it's not the subject, then perhaps we would have the subject's name in this, and we can ask when the subject's next in, because it's signed form, we can only give it to the subject. So these are little things that we can do to be able to progress intelligence on jobs, and it enables us to be overt, to be covert, and we're getting the information we need. Similar to the dog lead, it might be that you don a yellow coat and some dark trousers. You have a bag and you're a litter picker. No one bats an eyelid at a litter picker. You can get as close to a subject as you want. It might be that you're just going round a car park, giving yourself an hour to an hour and a half to be able to trigger the subject out. So these are some ideas of where props are so important to surveillance operatives, so they're not remembered, so they can gain a little bit of exposure, but then pull away, get change of profile, and potentially have that opportunity to go in close again. So that's another episode of Titan PI TV. Thank you for listening. We are well over the 2,000 subscribers now, and I thank every single one of you. However, if you have liked this, give us a thumbs up. We love a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss further episodes, then please subscribe. It's free. Thank you very much. I'm Simon Henson. See you again.